All right, well, thank you, Doug, and thank you for all coming today. So over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'd like to hopefully demystify the melanoma pathology report to some extent. And I'd like to do that by talking about each of the three sections. So the three sections to the melanoma report, many of you guys have seen their own melanoma reports. There's a gross description, a diagnosis, and then the microscopic description of the table of prognostic attributes. In doing so, I'd like to show some examples of how we measure that melanoma invasion, how we look at ulceration, and then this time at the end, I'm going to show a lymph node with a small focus against that melanoma within it. All right, so the purpose of the melanoma pathology report is obviously to provide an accurate diagnosis, but really it's also to provide important melanoma characteristics for appropriate staging and treatment planning. And so this is a typical melanoma pathology report. It's fairly standardized throughout the country and in Western countries. But we have a section here at the top that's the diagnosis. And it gives some information about the tumor, obviously, and then the thickness of the tumor. And then the next section is called the gross description. And that's basically all the preparation that goes into the tissue before the pathologist actually sees it and makes a diagnosis. And so I'll show that a little bit. And then the microscopic description and the table of prognostic attributes. And so let's first talk about this patient actually had a number of years ago. And if you look at the A, B, C, D, and E categories, the patient came in very worried about this ugly, duckling lesion on her skin. And so in clinic, the gap really goes all the A, B, C, D, E categories. It was changing. So I was very concerned with this melanoma, as was the patient. So we removed the tissue entirely in clinic to get a good diagnosis. And then the biopsy was removed in clinic and then put into a formalin container that was labeled with the patient's name and other pertinent identifying information. And so then that container then goes to our dermatology laboratory. And so this is what the gross description is basically that. So gross meaning what we see macroscopically on a large scale. And so this is, we take the formalin container and then look at the container, make sure it's labeled appropriately, and then open it up on that left side, and in this case, the biopsy specimen, and then we describe what it looks like. And so we said it's in a regular shape, and then the measurement component, and then if there's any other identifying characteristics or interesting features, we'll also mention those things too. The next thing we do with all tissues we get in the pathology lab is stain them. And that will, I'll show a picture of what that looks like in the microscope in this little bit. But that helps us identify the margins, which is obviously a very important component of diagnosis. And then we will that the tissue is quadrisected. That just means that it was cut in 4 sections. And that depends on how large the tissue is. So larger tissues get more sections, basically cut in every 1 to 2 millimeters. All right, so in this particular example, 4 pieces, and then put it into this green cassette, which has demonstrations for the next step, which is we close the cassette lid, load them on a processor. So processors hold about maybe 300 of these cassettes. And then the tissue over 7 hours is dehydrated in a number of alcohol steps, and then winds up impregnated in paraffin wax, liquid paraffin wax, candle wax basically. And then after we arrange the pieces in the block, then it's hardened, and we have our tissue block, which we keep in our archive for years and years and years, so we can go back to it and take additional sections if we want to for other studies. Okay, so then these blocks are actually loaded up with a very sharp instrument called a microtome, and then that cuts extremely thin sections, so less than the left of a red blood cell. And then they actually come out in kind of ribbons with the paraffin holding all together, and we just kind of stretch that out, float it on a water bath, and then the glass slide, you actually take the slide and actually capture the sections themselves. So you can see that this has 2 profiles, each with the 4 pieces of tissue. And then a few of them you can see kind of floating there on the water bath there. And then it's ready for staining, so we stain the tissue with red and blue dyes on an automated stainer. And then it's ready for the pathologist to have a look at with the microscope. So this is the final product. So here's my microscope in my office, and I have a tray of slides here. And then I take a slide which represents the biopsy, and I'll stick it with the patient. Look at it with the microscope, make a diagnosis, and then generate a report on the computer, which is going to send to the person's provider and also your patient too. All right, so that's a summary of the description of the tissue received by the laboratory and how it's processed. Okay, the next section, so in this case, it was melanoma, ulcerated melanoma, 1 millimeters of that, and a bunch of margin. And so I thought I'd give a quick primer on skin microscopy, and Glenn actually did this very well. Again, we have the same cartoon diagram. So it's very complex fabric that keeps the insides in and the outside out. And it has the epidermal component, a dermal component, and then a layer of fat underneath that. And so I like it to cake just like one mentioned too. The frosting layer kind of represents the epidermis, and then the cake layer represents the dermis. And so what does that look like under the microscope? Well, this is a section showing the epidermis here on the top. And then this pink stuff here, that's all collagen, that's the dermis. And then we have a small portion of the subcutaneous fat right there. And then this whole thing right here, that's actually a hair follicle with associated oil glands. So very complicated structure. And then if we look at higher magnification of just the epidermis, just the top layer, so as Glenn mentioned also, we have a multi-layered epidermis that's composed mostly of skin cells called keratinocytes. But then within that, we have these cells, this is melanocytes. It's kind of like a chocolate chip cookie, where all the chocolate chips are kind of floating down through the base of the cookie. All right, so that's where they really should reside. They should reside in that basal layer. These are very evenly distributed. And so here's my cartoon diagram of that. So the epidermis, the dermis, and the fat. And then all these little red dots here, those are melanocytes. And so they're very equally spaced. And so they tend to stay right at the base of the epidermis, and we shouldn't see them higher than that. So they should be right at the bottom part. Okay, and as you're aware of these melanocytes, they give rise to benign tumors we call moles or nevi in the skin, as well as the malignant tumor melanoma. Okay, so the diagnosis under the microscope is kind of similar to what we see in the clinic. So we have the A, B, C, D, and E in the clinic, but we also have the same kind of things. We like to see organization. And so we're looking for, is the lesion under the microscope, is it symmetrical or asymmetrical? Is the border well defined? Are the cells, the CUV cells in this case, are they typical or are they atypical? The melanocytes. And then also there's a diameter component. So again, larger lesions we tend to look at with more suspicion than really narrow lesions. Okay, so what does the benign mole look like? And so here's a really nice example of a mole here. And so here's our cartoon diagram. And we like to see melanocytes and moles be aggregated in the nest. Okay? And so we like to see the nest be concentrated at the bases of the ridges because these kind of finger-like projections here in the epidermis. So just like the cells, they should stay at the bottom part of the epidermis. And then in this case, we have some here in the cake layer. This would be what we call compound needles. So the first question is it symmetrical? And so we can draw a line here, and the left-hand side looks like the right-hand side, so it's a yes. Is it well-defined? And what we mean by that is, does it start with the nest and into the nest? And that would be another yes. And then finally, are the melanocytes confined to the base of the epidermis? And in this case, they are. So yes to all these things. And so we can diagnose the this is an example of what that looks like under the microscope. And so this is, again, the epidermis here, and then the dermis. We don't have any of the back here. Then you can see these rounded nests here along the junction between the frosting and the cake. All right, those are the melanocytes. And then we have some here in the top portion of the dermis, too. So it really kind of looks like that. So then if we do a line on the left-hand side, it roughly looks like the right-hand side, so it would be symmetrical. And then is it well-defined? You can see that you don't have any needles here. And right here it starts, and then over here it stops, and that's so we like that too. So that would be very well defined. And then finally, when you look at the cells themselves, they're very uniform. They all kind of, each of them look like their neighbors, their cousins. And so we don't have any that are big and really small and variable in how they look. So all these things would make us evaluate 9 mole needs. Right? And what about melanoma? Melanoma can be haphazard in its distribution and the way the nests are created. They can be very irregular. We have single cells, and so single cells we don't like to see in melanocytic things like melanoma. So if we have lots of single cells, you start wondering about melanoma. And so in this case, is it symmetrical? It'd be very difficult to make one half look like the other half, so we say no. Is it well defined? And so the answer to that would also be no. If you start with a nest, actually have fewer cells here. So that would be no as well. And then finally, our monocytes can find the base of the epidermis, and they're all over the place. So that would be no. Okay, so that's what this looks like under the microscope. So again, rather than just having the monocytes here along the base, we have them like a gunshot distribution or peppers throughout the epidermis, even up in the very top layer. So we have monocytes at all levels. It would be difficult to make one half look like the other, so it's not symmetrical. And the monocytes themselves are variable, meaning that this cell doesn't look like that one, doesn't look like that one. So all these things together, with the architecture and with the cell look, we get the diagnosis. Okay? All right, so Glenn already alluded to this too, but what's the difference between melanoma in situ and invasive melanoma? As it follows, that's a very critical distinction to make because it will change the way tumor is treated. And so for melanoma in situ, all of the cells are confined just to the epidermis. Okay? And so that looks like this. Again, that's another example. So we have cells here in kind of haphazard distribution, just in the epidermis, and we don't have anything in the cake layer. So again, that's an example of melanoma in situ. However, in the invasive melanoma, we have the same distribution of the epidermis within the process are communicated with the underlying dermis. Okay. And so here's an example of that. So we have lots of melanoma. So this is the epidermis here. And then all these aggregates are all melanoma cells in the epidermis. But then it's a little bit hard to see, but we have some masking here and a little bit over here too. And so that would be, we would consider that invasive melanoma. Okay. Right, that looks fairly straightforward, but sometimes that can be a really difficult decision to make. So whether it's melanoma in situ or whether it's invasive melanoma can be hard. So for this, in this particular case, here's the epidermis, and then we have this kind of haphazard distribution of these cells throughout the epithelium, the top layer. And so we're making up aortic melanoma in situ. But then you can start seeing a few cells here in the cake layer, like that one and maybe that one. They look like the ones in the epithelium, the top layer here. And so we're kind of suspicious that those guys might be invasive melanoma cells. And so what we do in this case, and we actually do a lot of this, is we stain specifically for the monocytes. And in this case, we're using a stain called melanate. And so here we have our normal skin, so it's kind of hard to see, but this is the epidermis. And so here are the cells, and they're very evenly distributed here, and they're evenly spaced, right? But if we look at this particular case, they're just constantly, they're kind of just a sheet within the epidermis, and we even have some that are scattered product. But we also see that we have cells here scattered around in the upper portion of the dermis. And so in this case, that will confirm a subtle dermalization, and we would identify this as invasive melanoma with a vesicle thickness of 0.2 millimeters, measured from the top part of the skin perpendicularly down to the deepest of the normal cells. Right? Okay, so just to recap, so benign mole or nevi, those are very organized tumors in general, and melanoma tends to be very disorganized. All right, so we do, I think I'll kind of skip through this, but kind of architecture and how the monocytes look is really the kind of foundation of how we make diagnoses of melanoma and dermatology. Okay, the microscopic description, I won't spend a lot of time on this. So as we look at the case, we will typically dictate our findings. And so we'll say things like it's a quadrisected shape, which means it's cut into 4 pieces, and then there'll be a description as we're looking at it about the architecture and how the cells look. And that's called the microscopic. This is a table of prognostic attributes, and I mentioned that this is fairly standardized throughout the country. And so this is a summary of all the tumor characteristics that are important in staging of mentioned. And so this would be things like the T category, the TNF staging system. That's going to be the tumor thickness and whether or not ulceration is present. I'll show examples of that in just a minute. I'll talk briefly about margins and also how the T component is staged. So the important staging characteristics for melanoma. So again, we're going to be talking about the T component, what the tumor on the skin actually looks like. All right, and so this is a table that we refer to, and so the definition of the primary tumor, there are two main important things that we're looking for. One is the thickness, or how deep the tumor goes into the dermis, and the other is whether or not the tumor is ulcerated. All right, and so in the thickness category between the T1 and T2, T3 and T4, the thresholds for those are defined at 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters and 4 millimeters in depth. All right, so melanoma thickness. So how deep does a melanoma invade into the dermis? And so this was first reported by Bethel in 1970 as a issue of particular Huntsman for 5 years. And that remains the single most important prognostic factor for clinical indication. So we just measured the depth of the deepest melanoma cells in millimeters, and we round that up to the nearest 10. And that's an ocular micrometer that's actually positioned in the eyepiece of the microscope. And so in this particular example, this would be probably the deepest melanoma cell. And so we would measure from the top of the skin perpendicularly down to that point. And in this case, let's just say 0.57 millimeters. And so we would round either the 0.57 would be rounded up in this case to 0.6, and we would identify this as a melanoma at 0.6 millimeters and nothing like that. Okay, so here's another case that I showed earlier. Again, lots of melanoma in situ in the epidermis, and then the CNS here in the dermis. And then if we measure that, again, 0.57, so that's from the top to the melanoma cell. And so we round that up to 0.6 millimeters and call it 0.6 millimeters. All right, what about ulceration? So this is the major prognostic factor is lymph tumor thickness. And what it really means is just an absence of the intact epidermis or invasive melanoma. So it's a place where the frosting is gone. You're just looking essentially at the cake underneath. Okay. And so here's our epidermis in the drawing, kind of made it so it gets kind of eroded, and then the epidermis is just absent in the middle, and then there's overlying these invasive tumor cells. Okay, so here's what that looks like. So this is quite a large, extensive tumor, again, very asymmetrical with things on the right and on the left. And then I think you can see that the epidermis here, the top layer, the frosting layer is intact, and then it becomes more difficult to see here. So we get intact, and then right about here, we use it, and now we just have this kind of a serum crust or scab, for example, overlying this, and that's tumor directly underneath this. This would be an example of what ulceration looks like. All right, so on the left-hand side, non-ulcerated melanoma means that the epidermis is completely intact. On the right-hand side, ulceration of the tumor. Okay, one slide here on margin assessment. And so what we're looking for here, the question we're asking is, does the melanoma in this case involve an deep edge of the tissue? And so remember, in the grossing part, we date the tissue with brilliant. And so here's that brilliant, you can kind of see it right there. That means that we know that that's the true margin. So anything that goes to the edges, there would still be tumor in the patient. Okay. So here we have our melanoma in situ. We separate the epidermis with the frosting layer, and then it goes right up here to the edge. All right, so just putting it all together, so here's another very unusual lesion in clinic. So this looks like a melanoma clinically, and so do an excisional biopsy to remove it in the diagnosis. And so here's a portion from that excision, and even from low power, you can see it's a very asymmetrical tumor. And then right here, that's where the tumor probably stops, and then you have this margin of free or normal epidermis. This side too, nothing here at the base. And so the tumor would not be present in the margin of the case. A little higher magnification, again, we're talking about architecture, the cells look. The cells themselves are very typical, and similar to the divided, which is a very typical feature to see in melanocytic proliferation. And so we make a diagnosis of invasive melanoma. And so our depth would be 1.9 millimeters to the base of the deepest melanoma cell, and then it's ulcerated. And so if we look at our table, so a thickness of 1.9 millimeters would correspond to a T2 lesion, almost a T3, so 1.9. And then, so it would give us T2, and then because it's ulcerated, that would be a T2B. All right, so that's how we indicate that on pathology reports. All right, just to conclude, the Melanoma Pathology report provides diagnostic information for assessment of prognosis and treatment planning. I think I have a minute or two left. I thought I'd show just one more thing. So this is another example of melanoma. And so we have this in the epidermis and here in the dermis. Those are melanocytes. And so if we look at high magnification, again, we have the melanocytes at all levels of the top layer of the skin. So the suspect and the cells themselves are very visible. Here they are. And so these are diagnosis moving on a long term birth, so thickness of 1.5 millimeters and an A lesion because we don't have exudation. So here's the sentinel lymph node. This received a wide excision in the sentinel node. And so this is what the lymph node looks like in the skin, so basically an aggregation of lymphoid tissue. And all this black material here, that's tattoo pigment, meaning the person has a tattoo on their skin that drains through just lymph node. So we can try to ignore that. But then if you look really closely right in this area, there's a small cluster of very atypical cells that don't look like the cells around them. So all these are lymphoid cells, and then these cells are very atypical. One part of the protocol that we use for sentinel lymph node examination is we get a couple of different stains. One of those is melanoma, that's specific stain from monocytes. And so it's very helpful because they stand out. In this case, they're stained brown. With a higher magnification, these cells are large and in a position where they should not be. And then we always go back and we try to compare the tumor cells with what we see from the initial biopsy, and they look very similar. So in this case, we went into diagnosis of a small focus and metastatic melanoma.